We make eye contact, and the music starts. He approaches me and invites me with his left hand. I accept and step into his frame. We begin to sway gently to the beat, getting used to our own movements before we take some steps. He steps back, making room for me to step forward, but then he stops, redirecting my energy to come back around into a turn. That was fun, and we're warming up, so he tries again, but this time he leaves his hand on my head as I keep spinning until he decides that he wants me to stop, and he brings it down. As those of you who know me know, I love to partner dance. From salsa and bachata to ballroom and even swing, I've spent the past 10 years learning, practicing, and dancing all around the world. One of my favorite parts about partner dancing is the ability to connect with people from all walks of life using only base-level human language, eye contact and touch, and yet coming together in a flow that I can only describe as both meditative and energizing. When I dance, I understand what they mean when they say that the sum is greater than its parts. You see, I can move on my own, my partner can move on his own, but then together, we can do moves that neither of us could fully do on our own. I want to share with you a different dance. This time, the dance floor is a conference room, and the leader whose moves I'm following is a VP at the company that I work for. This dance takes place over a series of emails and meetings, and one day everything is going great and we're on the same beat, and then the next day it feels as if I were abandoned in the middle of the turn, left wobbling and trying to regain my balance. Sounds familiar? You see, through dance, I have learned more than just dance moves. In learning how to partner dance, I have learned more about leadership and team dynamics than in any other class or book. So today my goal is to share with you the 2 best practices that I have learned that can have the biggest impact on your partners and your dancing, with the hopes that even if you don't dance, you can use these insights to be a better leader at work. The first big takeaway is that you should use energy wisely. Dance, like most things in life, is an act of focused energy. And like our friendly physicists explain, energy cannot be created nor destroyed, only transferred or transformed. The same applies in leading and following. Whether on the dance floor or in the conference room, we're always managing, directing, absorbing, and sharing energy, even when we're not aware that this is happening. Perhaps this is why often unaware and maybe more disconnected leaders accidentally step on your toes. They're not aware of where their energy's going, let alone where it is in relation to yours, and before you know it, there goes your big toe. So I think that leaders should manage not just numbers and targets, but also energy. Let me illustrate this with an example. I used to work at Google, and at Google, unlike most companies, engineers nominate themselves for a promotion. The reason for this is that progress in engineering can sometimes be hard to spot externally, so the onus is on the individual to nominate him or herself when he or she feels ready. Seems super fair. Well, the issue was that women were not nominating themselves for promotion at the same rate that their male colleagues were. So imagine you're a leader at Google. What do you do about this? Alan Eustace was a leader in the engineering organization when he got this information, and he was really wise. What he did was he used his position to strategically redirect the energy in the organization. He drafted an email where he cited academic studies that show that girls don't raise their hands as often in the classroom and that women don't speak up as often in meetings. And he said that the same thing was happening with promotions. He sent this to every engineer at Google, and he told the women to advocate for themselves. You see, in realizing where the energy was stuck in the organization, Alan was able to use his own leadership to pivot them, to change their behavior. There are many ways to do this. You can do a more verbal approach like Alan did. You can use even more subtle things. For example, if you find that your company is being very siloed, you can organize for random desk Fridays where everyone switches seats and therefore talks to each other. Or if you notice that everyone's really burned out, you can give everyone a paid day off. The key thing that I want to encourage you to do is to use your position as a leader to direct the energy in the organization, much like you would in a dance. The second takeaway is that the best leaders know and adapt to their people, not the other way around. We have this narrative in the world that leadership is all about command and control and strength and rigidity, and that is exactly the worst thing in a dance partner. You see, the people who are commanding and controlling, they're the ones who, when you're dancing, they just pull you off of your foot and then you fall or run into someone else. The best leaders are the ones who adapt themselves to you. If you're really short, they go down. If you're really tall, they go up. They adapt. It's not just about mechanically being able to do the step perfectly. It's about how you do it with others. To put it in techie terms, good leaders are like a website that looks one way on desktop and different on mobile. Responsive leadership, responsive design. So how does this actually work in practice? So the best designers can tell you, good design comes from good insights, good people insights. And we do this in business. In marketing and strategy and sales, we look for people insights before we make decisions. But why not in leadership? I'll use another example, this time from Project Loon, which was Google X's ambitious project to send internet up into the air via balloons, to share how a leader might do this. Astor Teller was leading the project at the time of launch. And he had a big group of engineers and scientists. Everyone's working really hard, really excited to finally launch this project. It's taken so long. But there are many potential complications with this launch. And he finds himself in a difficult position. If you're Astro, how could you mitigate that risk? You could delay launch and run a bunch of tests, but at the time, it's no longer possible. You're launching in 3 months. So what do? Astro realized that he had a team full of engineers and scientists who had become successful by succeeding in academia. They had taken lots of tests. Not only were they expert test takers, but they were proud of the fact that they were good at taking tests. So he used this insight to create an activity for them. He brought them all into a room, gave them each a piece of paper and pen, set a timer for 30 minutes, and told everyone, you're taking a test. Whoever gets the best answer gets the best grade. You have 30 minutes. You only have to answer one question. Imagine it's launch day, and everything goes wrong. Why? Engineers furiously scribbled down on the paper all the reasons why everything was going to go wrong. And before you knew it, in 30 minutes, they had a huge list of everything that they needed to fix to ensure a smooth launch. But they still had 3 months to go. So they did it, and they launched flawlessly. The big takeaway here is to be responsive to the people that you're trying to lead, adapt your style to them, and then you're able to make the best out of them. To the untrained eye, it seems like the most technical dancer would be the best dance partner. But that's simply not true. The best dance partners, and research shows this too, are the people who are able to manage energy effectively, their own and the energy of others, and the people who are responsive to the behavior of their people. The best leaders have the highest emotional intelligence, or EQ. So the next time that you find yourself in a leadership position, I encourage you to hear more than the music, learn more than steps. Hear, see, be, dance with the people that you're trying to lead. Not only will you spare their toes, but you will also bring the most out of the energy that each individual has. And that, my friends, is how you get a guaranteed second dance.